So Stephen Maher, if you recognize the name, author, journalist, wrote a book called The Prince, The Turbulent Reign of Justin Trudeau. It's the first ever political biography of Justin Trudeau. We had a chance to speak earlier in the afternoon, and I began basically just by asking the question of what he thought of what we all heard from the Prime Minister yesterday.
It had seemed to me for a long time like he was going to have to go, and to most other people, and he seemed to be the last guy to get the message. I was struck by how thoroughly gutted he looked. He really, really does not want to stop being Prime Minister of Canada, does not want to step away from the election to come with Pierre Poilievre. But, I want a pony. In Canada, you don't get more than 9 or 10 years in office. That's just the way it goes.
So I found a couple of things that I consider kind of telling. Let me know what you thought. You've had a chance to spend time with him. First of all, on the question of, do you have any regrets? And obviously on the same day you're making that announcement, maybe that's not something you thought you'd be asked, although maybe you should have. This idea of having changed the way Canadians vote. What did you make of that?
Well, I wasn't surprised because I know that when I interviewed him for the book, he talked about that, which I didn't really want to take up because I'm not really persuaded by his arguments on this. He campaigned on saying that 2015 would be the last election under first past the post, but he never presented legislation. He couldn't come to an agreement with the other parties, and he just dropped it. So, and he didn't seem to put a lot of energy into it either. He didn't make the case to the public. He didn't say this is the system we should have. He just kind of said, oh, well, I guess they don't want that. Which is one of those things that it's a pattern. Francois Legault promised electoral reform and didn't give it. It's something that opposition parties promise and then don't do. So for him to lament that now, it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, poor you.
Okay. I would ask as well, you said, you described the way he looked yesterday, and he said something really interesting, which is you get the sense that this is something he absolutely did not want to do. Of course, he's being taken to task for having waited as long as he did. What do you imagine that conversation was like, and with who, for him to come to that decision?
Well, I was told that before the holidays, it was actually in his schedule to deliver that speech, and that he was talked off the ledge by Montreal MP Marc Miller and Dominic LeBlanc, who I don't think told him that he shouldn't resign, but said, don't rush into this. And that part is a guess. But that's what you would think was happening. He made the announcement on Monday. On Wednesday, the caucus was going to meet and call for him to go immediately. And that's happening because all of these members of parliament are going to lose their jobs unless the polls change. And Trudeau has tried a great number of things, and nothing he does can move those polls, because I believe that Canadians are just ready for a change. And once that happens, once that sets in, it's impossible to change the things.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering, too, how much time did you get to spend with him in writing the book? Just
1 hour.
That's it.
So I worked on the book for 2 years, and I wanted more time than that. That's what they gave me. But to give the guy credit, he showed up ready to work and gave me some interesting answers. It was when he decides to do something, he throws himself at it.
Would it be fair to say, I had him in studio a couple of months ago, around the time of the Montreal by-election here, and I'd known him for many, many years past, right? And I wonder, even in moments when you think Justin Trudeau is being candid, if he is, or if you feel he's still guarded.
Well, people who know him better than I do say that he's guarded, that he wears what somebody told me, and I put it in the book, that he wears a mask of affability. His childhood, he was born the son of a prime minister. He was constantly surrounded by people who want to get close to him or who love him or despise him. So he's used to basically dealing with people trying to get at him. And there's one Montreal story that I put in the book that he discussed in his memoir. So when he was a student at Brebeuf, when he was maybe 12 or 13 years old, one day a fellow student, being like a thuggish, typical teenage boy, came along and thrust in front of Justin a pornographic picture of his mother that had been published in an American magazine. And Justin wrote about how he had to show no response, that he knew that if he responded to that he would be encouraging more behavior like that. So he is different from most people in that he's had to develop kind of personal control over that kind of thing, and he's a practiced performer.
Yeah, that idea of practice performer is one that comes up a lot. And I wonder, given what's gone on now, and if we can fast forward to, I don't know, May or whenever the next election is going to be, and Justin Trudeau, in all likelihood, is obviously done, not just as the party leader, but I would think in politics entirely. What do you think his future is? Where does he end up?
Well, he was on the speaking circuit before, and he made good money at it. His brand is not what it was. Right, if he had left a year ago, he would look better than he does right now. But I would think that there may be people around the world who would be interested in having a look at him. He's got a damaged but well-known global brand. And people used to enjoy his speeches, so I could see that. I could see him doing that kind of thing.
Is he done? I used it. I just assumed we would move on from politics. Is he done politically, do you believe?
I think so. He's as a backbencher, he was not a great parliamentarian, right? When he was representing Papineau from 06 to 12, before he became the Liberal leader, he didn't particularly distinguish himself in committee work or parliamentary business. So he likes the spotlight, and it's hard to imagine him doing what, say, Joe Clark did as a former leader and continuing to make a contribution as a minister or, party grandee. I think Trudeau will likely go on to do other things. He probably should spend more time with his family. He's got 3 children who have not had him around as much as he would like, probably. So I think that a turn to private life would likely benefit him.
And that's where we will leave it. Mr. Maher, thank you so much. Very much appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk to you.